Listen, I'm easy to find. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.
What's up, y'all? Nathan back. Another video presentation, episode 20, season 7, Big Nate Sports Talk. In this episode, we're just strictly breaking down the Ravens and the Washington Commanders' schedule for this upcoming season. Before we get into that, episode 19 is already up. I plan on going live after this video. Just going to go with the Wizards. And then we got to break down the semifinals recap, and then preview the Eastern Western Conference. I believe tomorrow the Mystics, today, it's still Monday on the West Coast, but I do believe that the Mystics do got a pregame media availability, but that's not until 6 because the game is at 8. So I'll go live at 7 because usually it's only like 30 minutes. It's usually just Coach T. And then that's it. And I'll go live, and that'll end season 7. So be tuned in for that. But football, the NFL schedules has been released. And I want to take opportunity to give a shout out to Sean Spencer. Did an interview with him for breaking down the Ravens schedule. This was actually, that episode with him was the actual first time I actually looked at the schedule because, again, been trying to keep up with the NBA. The WNBA just week 1's finished. Baseball. I tried to get some hockey in there. It was really kind of hard to keep up with the NFL. So, yeah, looking at the schedules, I have some questions, but I feel confident. I'll start with the Ravens. This is an interesting schedule. They made it really, really tough for us. Well, not tough, but I really do think that looking at the schedule, the first thing that stood out to my mind was the first 4 weeks we're playing the AFC East. And then we've got Cincinnati. Then we go to New York. We're back home against the Cleveland Browns. So that's the first matchup against and I'm just here. I just feel like the NFL is not going. Even though I believe he should be suspended, I feel like the NFL is not going to discipline Deshaun Watson for his actions. Something just tells me they're just going to just sweep that under the rug. Even when I'm for the record, he should be suspended. But knowing the NFL and how they handle that's a whole different other video. Then we got to face week 8, Mr. Dimple Chin himself, Tom Brady and the Buccaneers, and Tampa. We got the AFC South. Tampa, New Orleans, Carolina, and then Jacksonville. And we're playing. And what's interesting, no NFC opponents. Well, yeah, no NFC opponents. That's interesting. No, I'm sorry, we got the NFC South, Carolina. We got the AFC South. Jameis Winston, week 9, Carolina, Sam Darnold, Trevor Lawrence, and then we got to face Russell Wilson and Denver Broncos, week 13. That's a home game for us. And then it's our first, we went to week 14. I don't know why they did it to us this time, but we are playing our divisional opponents later in the season. Our first, up until you got Cincinnati, week 5, week 7, but we don't see Pittsburgh until week 14 of the season. Where's my clip? And then for some strange reason, so they haven't announced the game, so the game might be moved. It says the 17th or the 18th to be announced at Cleveland. Then we got a Christmas Eve game against Atlanta at home. And then we're at home for New Year's Day, ladies and gentlemen.
Lose it, you never win.
Oh, boy!
That stuff is...
Yeah!
And then we are on the road against Cincinnati. That game might be moved as well. It says the 7th or the 8th at Cincinnati. So Couple things. The Ravens ended the season on a 6-game losing streak. Couple things you need to take in consideration. Injuries, injuries, and injuries. I did not think to still be in playoff contention until week 17. The Ravens were basically just holding on with just paper, tape, and glue. To me, that last part of the season, that was brutal. Even though there were some games where we tried but just couldn't execute. To me, Baltimore is going to take a couple of things with the Ravens. The biggest key is everyone getting back healthy. They still need to address a couple positions. I think they need to address corner. Even though they got 2 guys, a lot of people are saying they're not sold on late rounders, but late rounders can really do something for you. Just never know. Can you go out there and see what you can get, what you can afford? Because, I mean, Jimmy Smith's a free agent. They're moving on from him because he's getting older. Avery went to Oakland, and the other guys we had were off the street. To me, I don't like how they did that. We have to play a backloaded schedule, a backloaded AFC schedule like that towards the end. I don't like that. I feel like the game should be spaced out, but I understand. And then on top of that, we got 2 road games back to back with Cleveland and Cincinnati. Then you got to see Pittsburgh, which is always to me probably the best. For me, I'm always looking forward to us playing the Steelers because again, that's probably one of my favorite rivalries growing up. And then also too, like to have 4 out of 6 of those games, it's going to be a bloodbath. I do feel like I'm looking at November, and a couple things that stand out to me is that we've got the Saints, Panthers, and Jags. I am going to put a guarantee on this. The Baltimore Ravens will win 2 out of those 3 games. Guarantee. I believe they can beat the Panthers, and I believe they can beat the Saints. I would actually take the bet. I think they can really go 3-0 in November. I do. That's kind of the case. I think you really got to write that a good chance to see Jameis Winston, Sam Darnold, and Trevor Lawrence. And also, too, like, fun fact, we are 36-21 under John Harbaugh beating NFC teams. So, I mean, I can see Baltimore going 3-0 in the month of November. I can see that. And then, again, I'm looking at the schedule where we got the AFC East, the first straight 4 weeks. That really, really sucks. I hate that. I just don't understand it. Like, we got the rematch against the Dolphins. I know there's going to be some revenge on that game. Josh Allen versus Lamar Jackson 3. Tyreek Hill in a new uniform. The Patriots. The AFC East is going to be interesting. I'll get to more. That's going to be another video on a later date. But I think the Ravens will win. Realistically, I'm going to say they'll split. Guaranteed. I'll say they'll win 2 games. I'll say they'll lose 2 of those games. I'll say that. And then I'm also looking at we only got 3 primetime games this year. The last season we had 5. And I think again too when you're not playing, I think when you look at the Ravens how we looked last year, I think they're taking that into consideration. And another year where Baltimore and Pittsburgh are not on a primetime game. I don't understand that. Like, I don't know. But, like, we got Buffalo, New England, and Denver. They're 1 o'clock games. And then we've got the Bucks and the Saints. They're 2 non-conference games. So, as I kind of can see, I can see Baltimore getting flexed. Probably one of those games that's to be announced. Probably done that on national TV. I mean, these things like Russell Wilson and Tom Brady, we get to see them again. You get to see what Tua looks like. What Tua looks like this year. Now he's got a new toy to play with. Zach Wilson, Mac Jones. I think this is a good opportunity to see what the defense looks like, and then also too, I think I'm going into this season. I think the Ravens they've retooled. They're still building the depth, but they were the strength of the schedule. I believe I read it. They were like ranked 23rd. So, and I'm looking at it too. They don't have a lot. They're kind of they looked out for us this year because we're not really traveling that much. Like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 home games. Yeah, we're not traveling that much this year. So I think that actually could be an advantage as well. And then our bye week is actually we technically got we have a bye week and then a mini bye week. So that's actually interesting. So we technically get 2 bye weeks in one season because our first bye week is week 10. And then we have like a little one after Cincinnati, which is between you got Monday Night Football and Thursday Night Football. So I'm not mad at that. And then for the last 13 years, we got to play Cincinnati again at the end of the season. I don't know why, but I mean, realistically, I like it. I like the schedule. I think it's fair. I do feel like at some point, I think the biggest things are. I mean, we didn't get to oversee games this year, so that's okay. But I really do think that this is going to be a good year. Like I said, I think the key is everybody getting back healthy, staying healthy. Again, I'm curious to really see with Deshaun Watson because I know their schedule, their first 4 games, they got to play Carolina, the Jets, Pittsburgh, and Atlanta. Like, no shout out to Cindy Swinton, but I mean, let's make an argument that if you're Cleveland, that's easy. Guaranteed. And then as if. Okay, I say he should be suspended the whole year. In my opinion, Deshaun Watson. I believe he should be suspended because I don't think it really makes sense to have him and Deshaun and Baker Mayfield. I thought Baker Mayfield would have been traded, but I don't know why they made the trade for him. But the Browns are the Browns. So, and then I'm looking at Pittsburgh. My money is going to be on Mitchell Trubisky starting. Even though I feel like it should be Mason Rudolph, it should be that's probably how big death is. Trubisky, Rudolph, and then Kenny Pickett. The fact that we don't see them until December 11th is crazy. Like, that's another year where we play them again in December and then or later. That's crazy. So I'm looking at the schedule. I'm gonna say realistically, the Ravens, I'll say they'll win 10, 11 games. Guaranteed. Now, I do think that when you look at the AFC North last year, the Cincinnati Bengals had the benefit of being the healthiest team. I think it comes down to who's going to stay the healthiest. I think the healthiest team is going to win the championship and win the division. I believe that it's going to be in this particular order: Baltimore, Cincy, Pittsburgh, and Cleveland.
Guaranteed.
Because I don't know, it's gonna be hard to repeat if you're Cincinnati, especially when you got the way what Pittsburgh and Baltimore did in the offseason and reloaded that way. So we'll see. So I think the schedule is fair. I have no issues with it, but I got to see Tom Brady again, Mr. Dimple Chin, and Russell Wilson in the same season. That's gonna be rough, but nah, we'll be all right. We will be okay. The Washington Commanders. Looking at the schedule, I'm not mad at it. We got week 1. You got the Jaguars, the Lions, Eagles, that team in Dallas, the Titans, Bears, Packers, Colts, Vikings, Eagles again, Texans, Falcons, the Giants, and week 14, you have a bye week, and week 15 might be a potential flexed game against the Giants, the 49ers, the Browns, and then we got to face that team in Dallas again for week 18. This should be interesting. It should be. I do feel like the schedule is not tough. I do think, again, last year, I think what you saw the same thing with Baltimore was injuries and lack of depth. So I feel like Washington, I think can have a bounce back season. But let's keep it real. 2020, that Washington team was beating teams that were not that good. Like, that's just realistically. Like, I think I like to see them beat. I want to see us beat good teams, which I know we're capable of doing. Like week 5, we got to face Derrick Henry and the Titans. But like, they got a good run first offense, which is Derrick Henry, Ryan Tannehill, which people are really wanting him to lose his job to Malik Willis, but that's on the subject of the video. And then on 2, like their defense. Their defense is kind of made some slight adjustments. AJ Brown's not there anymore. You got Treylon Burks. So that's a test to me. Then you got week 7. You got to face that man Aaron Rodgers. So that's going to be interesting. Because now what's the offense like? The identity. Devontae Adams is not there. Scantling's gone. So if you're Washington, I'm taking advantage of that matchup. Then Carson Wentz faces the team that has 1 or 2 homecoming games. The team that traded for him, and I personally believe ownership wanted him ousted. I do. For some odd reason, it's kind of interesting that they just won't stop talking about him. Like, from what I'm understanding, a lot of it was more personal than what his level of performance on the field. So that tells me that he rubbed some feathers the wrong way. Because Frank Wright ever since even Philadelphia, he's done nothing but vouch for Carson. So again, I do feel like management definitely wanted him out. So this is definitely one game I think Carson has circled on his calendar. I definitely expect him to have a big game on that one. Then we got to face Mr. Kirk Cousins. He's coming back home. I've noticed he doesn't really like to talk. He doesn't talk about the 6 years about his time in Washington. But all of it's been pretty positive. Kirk Cousins was a good quarterback. He had 2 franchise tags placed on him. He was drafted in the same draft with RG3. And realistically, I thought that was a mess. I knew that was from the jump. You had you already had a generational talent in RG3, but apparently, again, when you have a coach and a GM that are not on the same page, egos are not put in check, that hurts your team. Kirk Cousins, who got a nice slice of money in Minnesota, they really haven't done much. I mean, I kind of can see an interesting homecoming game for him. And then Carson Wentz, the team that drafted him, Philadelphia, the former number two overall pick. I think he was off to a great start. I remember at that time he was in the MVP conversation and he got hurt. And then also too, some of it I blame on Doug Peterson. I blame on Carson too. I think there was a lack of maturity. I think there was a lack of confidence. I think there was a lack of accountability on everybody's front. And I do think those last couple of years, you do have to take into account the talent around Carson. I mean, I think he had like a good amount of offense line changes. I mean, he only had really one true wide receiver, a running back core, guys just off the street. So I don't know why people ignore that, but that's just my opinion. I do feel like he's definitely going to have a good homecoming game on here. So then Jimmy, I mean, we don't know what we're going to see in San Francisco. Jimmy G still will be the starters, and we Trey Lance. I mean, I feel like he's still not ready. I need to give him another year. So, I mean, a Christmas Eve game, that should be interesting to watch. I mean, going against Kyle Shanahan, it's offense. So there's a lot of speed on offense and the deep backfield we got to keep up with. But we got a good, strong defensive front. I think they can try to contain that Kyle Shanahan led offense. So, I mean, I'm looking at Washington. I think Washington will win. I'm gonna say 9 games. I believe that it's still Dallas's division to win, but it's also the division to lose. I'm not sold on Philadelphia as a whole. I think I find it very distasteful that there are rumors of finding a replacement for Jalen Hurts. Mind you, Jalen Hurts, will be his third year coming into the league. If I'm saying that correctly. His second year. I don't understand after 2 years, we're throwing the towel. I don't understand that. I mean, I know he was 8-7 as a starter. He had 16 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. But I don't understand that. I don't know why, move on from him. But again, that's a whole other subject for another video. I'm gonna hold my tongue on that. But I'm gonna say 9 games is fair. Guaranteed. I'll also give them a wild card appearance. I think it's gonna be Dallas, Washington, Philly, and then New York. Then the same thing with Washington, staying healthy, and also too what you're going to get out of Carson Wentz. I think that's the key. I feel like it's still Dallas's division, but that window to championship is going to close soon as well. But obviously, I'm looking forward to both teams this year. It's going to be a great season. I think this is going to be probably one of the best seasons ever. Biggest thing is, again, hoping everybody stays healthy. Because I ain't gonna lie, watching some of those games last year, oh my gosh, that was brutal. That was really brutal to watch. So, y'all let me know your thoughts. Your team, how many games you think your team's going to win? Who are you looking forward to seeing this year? And how are you liking the new additions to different teams? Tyreek Hill going to Miami. The Honey Badger going back home. The Pittsburgh Steelers, new quarterback. The New York Jets and what they've done in the draft. Russell Wilson in Denver. Y'all let me know your thoughts, man, in the comments below. But until then, please like, comment, subscribe. It's Nathan signing up. See y'all.
Listen, I'm easy to find. And listen, they can kiss my ass if they don't like it.